My name is Susan Henderson. I'm the Chief Communications Officer for Rite Aid Corporation, also a member of the Rite Aid Foundation Board, and we want to welcome you here to a very joyous and celebratory occasion today, which is the grand reopening of this magnificent store here at 300 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. I mean, just stare at it's a beautiful store, isn't it? Thank you to all the people. We have all the store construction and all the folks who've worked here diligently for the past several months to rebuild this great store and to have it here to help serve our patients and customers. We have a very brief program, but before I begin, there are a lot of really great people out here today on such a beautiful 70-degree day to celebrate this. And just briefly, we'll hold applause, but here are some of the folks who are with us in this for this occasion today. United States Representative Elijah Cummings. Okay, we'll do it whatever way you'd like. White House Cabinet Secretary and Assistant to President Obama, Broderick Johnson. Thank you so much for being with us. Maryland State Senator Catherine Pugh. The Reverend Jerome Stevens, representing the United States Senator Ben Cardin's office and the senator. Thank you. The Mayor of Baltimore, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake. Thank you, Mayor. Baltimore City Councilman President Jack Young. Thank you. Baltimore City Councilman Eric Costello. Baltimore City Councilman Nick Bosby, and Baltimore City Councilman Pete Welch. And look at that great tie. Is that fabulous? And we also have our friends from across the street. Thank you so much, and they have been very, very helpful with us and working with us for many, many years. The University of Maryland School of Pharmacy Dean Natalie Eddington and her colleagues. And we are especially thrilled today to have the principal from the historic Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School, Betty Adams, and she'll be speaking with us in a few moments. One of my colleagues, Rite Aid Executive Vice President of Store Operations, responsible and accountable for over 4,600 stores throughout the United States, Brian Everett. And the person in charge of this particular division, Rite Aid Vice President of the Mid-Atlantic Region and Rite Aid Foundation Board Member, Scott Bernard. And I'm going to quickly go through. We have several people who really have been on-the-ground people who are here and have made this happen. Rite Aid Divisional Pharmacy Vice President Nirmal Singh, Rite Aid Group Senior Director Dan Pina, Rite Aid Regional Pharmacy Vice President Sanjay Rayatata, Rite Aid District Manager Courtney Moore, Rite Aid Asset Protection Manager John Foley, our Rite Aid Human Resources Manager Chris Coffey, our Store Manager, very important, Eugene Yamoa, and equally important in the back of the house, our Pharmacist Manager Elizabeth Atui. And from our corporate office, our Rite Aid Foundation Director, Tracy Henderson. And again, we have very many fellow Rite Aid associates from the greater Baltimore area and surrounding states, all of whom have played a critical role in rebuilding and reopening this store. Now I would like to turn it over to our Executive Vice President of Store Operations, Brian Everett, who will say a few words. Brian?
Thank you, Susan. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all for joining us today as we celebrate a very important moment for Rite Aid, our associates, and most importantly, this great city of Baltimore. It's my great pleasure to be here with all of you as we come together to celebrate the grand reopening of this Rite Aid store. As you all know, the store closed earlier this year, and for the past 5 months, we've been operating out of a temporary trailer as our store was rebuilt, literally right in the parking lot here. And it certainly wasn't the ideal situation for us, but we knew we had to do it in order to keep serving our customers and patients. Thanks to the efforts of so many, including Rite Aid associates from across the state, throughout the city and neighboring states, our builders, vendors, contractors, local, state, and federal officials, we are here today celebrating the grand reopening of this store. I'd especially like to recognize Eugene Yamoa, the store manager at this location, and his counterpart Elizabeth Atui, our pharmacy manager. I'd like to thank both of you for the tremendous leadership you've displayed over the past several months. Their commitment to their associates as well as your customers and patients has never been more evident. And for that, I say thank you very much. Not only are we excited to be back in operation, but to be doing so in a bigger and better way for the community. The store you're standing in today features Rite Aid's latest design format, our highly popular Genuine Wellbeing store. Designed with the customer in mind, this store format brings to life Rite Aid's commitment to health and well-being by providing you with the services, products, and resources you and your families need to live healthier, happier lives. Everything about this store exemplifies our brand promise of actively working with our customers to keep them well. There are a few things I'd like to point out about the design, features that truly make this store a destination for health and wellness. As you may have noticed driving in, the store has a drive-through pharmacy lane, making it easier than ever to drop off and pick up prescriptions. Upon entering the store, there's a direct path to the pharmacy, and that's not a coincidence. We're a pharmacy, first and foremost, so it makes sense that the pharmacy is the star of our store. At the pharmacy counter, we've removed all merchandise that was located there and opened up the area to create a more inviting and comfortable space. The store also received a new decor package featuring soft shades that create a warm and welcoming environment. And as you look above, you'll notice clear signage identifying each department for easy navigation throughout the store. We've positioned the merchandise our customers are looking for where they need it, like our grab-and-go cooler located near the front of the store, again, making it easier for customers on the go. We've also expanded our product offering to include gluten-free and organic foods and added specifically marked sections for his grooming or her beauty, including a brand new nail polish bar that I'm told has over 500 flavors of nail polish. I'm not sure flavor is the right word, but 500 styles. Before I introduce our next speaker, I'd like to again thank you all for being here today. We are thrilled to be back doing what we do best, serving the local community. And I know I speak for the entire store team here at 300 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard when I say we look forward to welcoming the community back to our beautiful new store. I'd like to now introduce U.S. Representative Elijah Cummings. A familiar face to the community, Representative Cummings has been instrumental in our rebuilding and reopening. Thank you, Representative Cummings. A lifelong resident of Baltimore, Representative Cummings shares our vision of providing access to high-quality health care to those he serves, and he has truly been a champion for community pharmacy, for which we are very grateful. He served the Maryland House of Delegates for 14 years, and since 1996 has proudly represented Maryland's 7th Congressional District in the U.S. House of Representatives. Please help me welcome Representative Cummings to the podium.
Thank you very much, Brian, and I want to make sure that you take back the message to corporate Rite Aid that we really appreciate this. This means a lot. One of the first calls that I made after the disturbances was to Rite Aid because we really wanted to make sure that Rite Aid rebuilt. And not only did they rebuild, but they put up a temporary trailer. We really appreciate that because that was very, very important. You know, Brian, as I was standing here listening to you, I couldn't help but think about my first job was in a pharmacy. And having worked at Onion's Pharmacy down in South Baltimore, I realized that these pharmacies are very, very, very important. They are survival stations. They allow people to get well. They allow them to have their diseases cured, provide an opportunity for them to get groceries. Survival. And I thank Rite Aid for recognizing that. But more important than all of that, I thank Rite Aid for realizing that sometimes things don't always go right, but that we are a city that we may stumble from time to time, but we get up and we keep going. And Rite Aid is a part of that keep going, and we certainly appreciate it. And I know I've said appreciation now 4 times already, but it is so very, very important because we want to send a signal out to other businesses, not only businesses that may be coming back, but businesses that are interested in Baltimore. We are indeed open for business, and I know the mayor has worked tirelessly to make sure that message gets out, and I want to thank you, Madam Mayor, and all of our elected officials. It is so important. Baltimore is open for business. The other thing I thank you all for, Rite Aid, for is giving to the Samuel Coleridge School the $10,000. This is a great school. It really is. And I've often said that our children are the living messages we send to a future we will never see. Your contribution to that school says a lot, not only to our community, but you know what else it says a lot to? What says a lot to? Our children. It says that you respect them and that you want to send them into a powerful future so that perhaps maybe one day one of them may be the manager of the store or the manager of the pharmacy or the owner of the company. Or a congressman, that's right. Amen. And so, we are very, very grateful. I want to thank all of our elected officials who worked so hard to make this happen. And it gives me great pleasure now to introduce a very good friend of mine, a Baltimore native. He grew up here in Baltimore. And he is our strong link to the White House. Right after the disturbances, the mayor, along with many others of us, joined, actually met in the White House a few days after the disturbances to begin to plot a way to bring Baltimore back. And this gentleman played a very, very significant role. But before I introduce him, let me say one last thing. I told Brian that there is nobody in the Congress that works harder for reducing the cost of drugs than I do. There's something going on in this country that is wrong. It's not Rite Aid. It's the manufacturers that are basically buying up companies, then jacking up the prices sometimes 100 times overnight. And then people come into the pharmacy, not the pharmacist's fault, and they can't even afford their medicine. We're doing something about that in Congress, and we're going to fight hard to address it. And so going back to, I'm sorry, Broderick, I had to do that. I had to say that. So Broderick works tirelessly to connect Baltimore with the resources of the Obama administration. And I also want to thank the Obama administration for all that they have done to help us come back. And so he is the assistant to the president, and he is indeed a cabinet secretary. He is also the chair of my Brothers Keepers Task Force. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Broderick Johnson.
Well, good afternoon. It's always great to be back home. It always is. I live in D.C. That's obviously not too far away, but my roots and my values are in this city. And so I think it's fair to say there's no one in the White House, Congressman, who does think about the city more than I do. And I'm just grateful to be here with you, my friend of many years. Mayor, it's always great to see you back home as well. Councilwoman Pugh, so I went to St. Ambrose. Sorry, Senator. Excuse me, Senator. Sorry, she corrected me. My good friend, as they say in Washington. I was actually just going to mention the fact that it's a small world. She has 3 cousins that were in the same elementary school class with me at St. Ambrose. They were twins, Deborah, Denise, and David. I got their names right? So, and I want to thank all the other elected officials, the officials here from Rite Aid as well. But most of all, to Eugene and Elizabeth, congratulations. The smiles on your face are infectious. Look at that. And for good reason. And for all of your fellow associates and employees and the folks in this community, it means so much. I'm very proud, of course, to be here on behalf of the administration and President Obama. As folks know, throughout his time in office, the president has pursued an agenda that has lifted this nation out of a great recession, brought health care to millions of Americans who had gone so long without it, and focused on climate change and what we can do to leave a better and healthier world for our children and our grandchildren. I tell you, I look around this store, it's really quite something to see, and especially with Halloween. And I love candy corn, and so I know it's in those shelves, and the First Lady may say, well, you shouldn't eat too much of that, Broderick, but what this symbolizes about the importance of health care, we've got a lot more to do over the next 14 months of this administration, and so much of it, though, will be focused on the Affordable Care Act and open enrollment. So let me just say a few words about that first. Especially want to thank Rite Aid for what it has done around open enrollment season in the past, but then also the open enrollment season that starts soon. For example, the 2,000 plus wellness ambassadors of Rite Aid and the devoted website or page on their website devoted to the Affordable Care Act. We're now about to approach another open enrollment season that begins on November 1st. That means that if you all know someone in this community who needs health insurance, now is their time soon to sign up for quality and affordable coverage. Open enrollment only happens once a year, and there are some really key dates here. Again, open enrollment starts on November 1st, runs through January 31st, and so it's an opportunity for people who don't have coverage in this community to get covered. There's another very key date within those dates, and that's December 15th, which is the deadline to sign up for coverage that will start on January 1st. People can sign up later than that, but they will not get coverage that starts on January 1st. Financial assistance is available. A lot of folks don't realize this. Over 8 out of 10 people who enroll in healthcare coverage through healthcare.gov qualify for financial help to make their monthly premiums more affordable. In fact, most people can find a health insurance plan for as little as $50 or less per month. And if folks don't choose to buy health insurance, they may need to pay a tax penalty of $695 or more. Getting covered could not be easier. Every year, the process of signing up for coverage has gotten simpler. People can even apply on their smartphones. During last year's open enrollment, it took most people about 10 minutes to submit an application. This is so important, and I hope Rite Aid will continue, as I expect you will, to do what you can to make sure people are aware of the opportunities. But there's an obligation that folks in this room have to their families, to their congregations, to their constituents, and everyone else. The second issue I want to mention briefly is prescription drugs and opiate abuse, which is a subject that the president will be addressing when he is in West Virginia tomorrow. Having grown up in this community, quite honestly, it's something that I've certainly had a sense firsthand of the impact on. So combating prescription drug and opiate abuse continues to be a major focus of the administration and folks here as well. In fact, drug overdose deaths are the leading cause of injury and injury deaths in the United States, even more than car crashes. In 2012 alone, 259 million opiate prescriptions were written, enough for every American adult to have a bottle. Our goal is to reduce opiate overdoses and overdose deaths and to decrease the prevalence of opiate use disorder through evidence-based strategies. So on behalf of the president, I just want to extend appreciation that Rite Aid has recognized this growing problem of opiate abuse and overdose across the nation and is working to develop pilot programs and other things that will address this issue. So we look forward to continuing to work with Rite Aid. The last issue I wanted to mention is criminal justice reform, something that, of course, in my work on behalf of the president and my brother's keeper work is critically important. The U.S. is home to 5% of the world's population, but 25% of the world's prisoners. While there are many people who belong behind bars, there are many who do not. This country faces a cycle of poverty, criminality, and incarceration that traps too many Americans, too many Baltimoreans, and weakens too many communities. The president has taken many steps to address these issues, having to do with investing in our schools and reducing the 100-to-1 sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine, commuting sentences of dozens of people sentenced under old drug laws that we now recognize as unfair. So while we've made progress, though, there's still much more work to do to fix our criminal justice system. So over the next several weeks, the president will travel across the country to meet with Americans who are doing their part, from law enforcement officials working to lower crime and incarceration rates, to former prisoners who are earning their second chance. This past summer, for example, the Attorney General Loretta Lynch and the Secretary of Education and I went to Jessup Correctional Facility to launch an experimental program to give second chance Pell Grants to prisoners there or incarcerated persons there at Jessup. That's just one instance in which we can make sure that people get a second chance. The President will continue to hope to work with Congress so that we can get bipartisan reform, one of the remaining things he hopes to get done while in office, working with Congress, and to make sure that our communities are safer and that people, again, have opportunities for a second chance in life. Again, it is a thrill to be here today. I look forward to getting a crab cake sandwich or a corned beef sandwich before I go back to Washington. I'm open for some suggestions. You have plenty. So, Senator, I look forward to that opportunity. But thank you very much for being here today at home. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Johnson. Now what I would like to do is introduce Maryland State Senator Catherine Pugh to the podium. Senator Pugh.
I always like to yield to our mayor, but let me just, you sure don't want to? Let me first say thank you to all of you all. Thank you, Rite Aid, for doing this. We know how, you know how important this is to our community. And on behalf of all of the community members, and I see my principal over here, I see the members of the neighborhood, I see some of our school children when I was coming in, and everybody is just excited. And as the congressman said, we will continue to fight to make sure that drugs are affordable to our communities and to our neighborhoods. But let me just tell you what this means to this community. This is an economic development hub. When you think about all the people who work here, all of the community members who come here, and then you have the University of Maryland right across the street. And I see our dean of the pharmaceutical school here. Thank you. I know that you do a lot of work on behalf of our community to make sure that not only are there prescription drugs available, that we're making sure that we keep our community healthy. And we can't do that if we don't have these kind of institutions in our neighborhoods, in our communities, providing what is needed. And as you can see, this is not just a drugstore. This is a place where people come to get all kinds of needs that they have for not just themselves, but their families. And so we are grateful that Rite Aid has continued to be a part of this community. We know that this is a very prosperous store, and it will continue to be a very prosperous store because the neighbors here understand what you mean to them. So again, to the new management here, to our mayor and your commitment, to our congressmen, to our city council people, to all of our U.S. Representatives, thank you. Thank you for understanding that all of us standing together, working together, pulling together is going to make a more vibrant Baltimore. And we're all committed to economic development and economic opportunity and the kind of healthcare and healthcare needs and institutions that make our community the greatest part of our city. And we know that Baltimore is not just open for business, but we're open to opportunities and us learning how to leverage what we have to spread the wealth throughout our nation and throughout our state and throughout our city. Thank you for being here.
And thank you again, Senator Pugh, for those excellent congratulatory remarks. And thank you again for wearing pink. We look like quite the twins today. It is really indeed our honor today to introduce Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake to the podium. We thank her for being here, Mayor Rawlings-Blake.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon, everyone. It is a pleasure for me to be here with you to celebrate the grand reopening of Rite Aid, to celebrate not just the Rite Aid and what its commitment to the city of Baltimore, but also its commitment to this community. I share in the Congressman's remarks about the appreciation that I have for Rite Aid. We've seen across the country in the wake of unrest, looting, and rioting, companies choose to shutter their businesses and move on, choose to disinvest. But what we are celebrating today is a promise of tomorrow and a commitment to stay and to continue to thrive by Rite Aid. And again, like the Congressman, I appreciate it and I could not be more grateful. Mr. Johnson, Secretary Johnson, thank you for being here. You're gonna come up so much to Baltimore, you're gonna be looking for an apartment up here. And I welcome that. Add you to the 10,000 families. You can welcome right on back. I appreciate you being here again, and I am just so grateful for the support that President Obama has shown me personally and the city of Baltimore as we continue to heal our city. I want to thank the Baltimore Development Corporation. I know we have Bill Cole, who is here from the department from Baltimore Development Corporation, and Will Beckford. They have been actively involved in the recovery of businesses from the unrest. I want to thank you for your dedication. They have held the hand of business owners as they try to work through reopening, and almost, I don't know that you know the exact percentage of businesses that have been reopened, but it is a significant portion of the damaged businesses have been open. And it is because of the hard work, the collaborative hard work of the Baltimore Development Corporation. I want to thank our newly minted Police Commissioner, Commissioner Kevin Davis, for being here as well. Thank you for the public safety partnership. So one of the unfortunate lasting images from our city's unrest last April involved the damage done to many of our city's pharmacies. The looting, the other destruction affected not just the companies and the individuals who own these pharmacies, but also the many residents who rely on these stores for their critical prescription drugs and supplies. I remember going with our health commissioner to deliver prescriptions to our seniors throughout the city who were, I can't even tell you how devastated they were. When they saw their pharmacies, their lifelines in their communities burned to the ground in many cases. Stores like Rite Aid are crucial to the fabric of our neighborhood. In particular, Rite Aid as a company has consistently made a genuine commitment to growing our city. The first store opened here in Baltimore City in the 1970s. I remember, I don't know about you, but I remember when the Reeds turned into Rite Aid. I thought, this was progress in our city. We were being upgraded. Rite Aid now operates 100 stores across the Baltimore area, providing more than 1,600 jobs, including 800 in Baltimore City. And I say that number because there is a person behind every one of those 800. There's a family behind every one of those more than 800 employees. And when our stores in our city were damaged and destroyed, it put at risk not just the businesses, but those families as well. That's why this is such an important day in Baltimore City. Rite Aid has been an enthusiastic partner to Baltimore and many of our deserving not-for-profits. From raising money for Johns Hopkins Children's Center to contributing to the United Way, Rite Aid makes a difference in our community. Since the events of last April, I made it clear that I do not believe that we will be defined by the events of that week. Our city will be defined and will continue to be defined by how we respond, how we choose to work together to rebuild those businesses damaged by the unrest, to address the fundamental issues of income inequality, housing needs, job opportunities, and so much more. We know that while some looked at the looting and the unrest as their opportunities for themselves, Rite Aid and many community leaders looked at it as an opportunity for others. So thank you again for your continued commitment to Baltimore City. We saw that same spirit in many community members who came together to clean up, came together to heal, came together to rebuild our city after the looting and the unrest. And for stores that there was greater damage, we're now seeing them through this recovery process. We're not done. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done in our community, but we'll do that healing and we'll do that work by working together. It's not about scapegoating. It's about looking for ways that we can point the finger not outwards but into ourselves and see what we can do better together. And that's what Rite Aid is doing right here. I can't thank you enough for believing in our city, for believing that this investment was worthwhile to the powers that be at Rite Aid. Thank you for being bullish on Baltimore. And I was a past customer. I will continue to be a customer, and I appreciate what Rite Aid means for Baltimore City. Thank you so much.
Thank you sincerely, Madam Mayor, for your kind and inspirational words and your true support of Rite Aid. We certainly appreciate it. I'd like to now introduce Baltimore City Councilman Eric Costello, who will say a few words.
Thanks, Susan. I know that Council President Jack Young had to leave, but I know how appreciative he is, and he asked me to convey that to everyone. I'd like to thank two groups specifically. The first one is Rite Aid. Brian, I think he mentioned before, where are you, Brian? That it wasn't easy, but it was necessary to put that trailer out in the parking lot. I can't tell you how much the people that I represent, people that work at the University of Maryland, seniors at Terrace Gardens, residents in Heritage Crossing, or parents of students at historic Samuel Coleridge Taylor School relied on this store. And just to have that trailer up during the time between April and May and now made a huge quality of life impact for those folks, and I'm genuinely appreciative for it. And the second group is really BDC, Bill Cole and Will Beckford and their whole team. Those guys worked around the clock to make sure that that trailer was up operating as quickly as humanly possible because of the quality of life impact it had on those folks that I just mentioned. Like the congressman said, I think I've used the word appreciative about 4 times now. I really do appreciate Rite Aid's commitment to Baltimore City and to getting this store back open. So thank you.
I think we also have Councilman Nick Mosby here. Councilman?
Thank you, Susan. Today is a special day, not just for this corner of Baltimore or West Baltimore or Maryland, but for the United States, because it sends a very strong and clear message. You know, back 50-some years, close to 50-some years ago in 1968, when we came out of what were real riots, because I don't call what took place in April riots, call them an unrest, but what were real riots, where we see cities like Baltimore go up in flames from east to west coast. Folks locked the doors, got in their cars, drove off, and never reopened. Today, Rite Aid has put a stake in the ground here in West Baltimore to say we understand and know from our mistakes in the past of this country's history that at the end of the day, we cannot abandon communities like West Baltimore. The same residents that Eric talked about, the same importance that the senator, the mayor, and congressman spoke of, the same little kids that will come and shop here are the residents that need access to this quality service. So again, I'd like to thank Rite Aid for your commitment to the citizens of Baltimore and for sending a clear message that Baltimore is truly open for business and we will rebound from this unlike no before. You know, April is just a chapter in our very storied history, but with the folks standing behind me today, I know that the trajectory of this city will continue to expand, and again, today marks a strong symbol of what that's to become. So thank you so much, Rite Aid.
We also have a very special Baltimore City Councilman, Councilman Welch. Please come up with your lovely bow tie. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you.
Oh, I love,
Pink in it.
and it does have pink in it. Good afternoon. Being at the end, everyone has said everything, but I want to mirror the comments of our congressman in that I am also, and I'm not going to say it 4 times, appreciative of the turnaround that Rite Aid made. And you serve not just the total community, but a very vulnerable community. Come on over here, Ms. Fair. Our seniors who live in this neighborhood who were so frightened that they wouldn't have pharmacy services. And on the 29th of April, when I talked to a Mr. Podgorski, who's the chair of pharmacy services for Rite Aid, he guaranteed me that those services would be renewed. And within 2 weeks, there was a trailer outside of this building serving this community and helping the vulnerable seniors that we have in this area have pharmacy service and able to fill each and every one of their prescriptions. Now, I was at this store before the occurrence of the riots, but if you look around and see the improvement, we have a partner that has become an even better partner in our neighborhoods. And in Japan, instead of having ribbon cuttings, they have ribbon tying operations. So Susan,
Yes.
Brian, I would like you to come on up.
Okay.
And I would like to join hands with both of you in partnership with our communities and with the city of Baltimore. You've done a wonderful job, and thank you for being such a wonderful partner.
Thank you so much.
God bless and keep you and Rite Aid. Thank you.
And really, ladies and gentlemen, that's the reason we're here. It's very important that we stay rooted on that. And thank you all for your remarks. Really, we have one final last thing to do before we do a formal ribbon cutting, and that's in honor of our grand reopening and to further demonstrate our commitment to this community. The Rite Aid Foundation is indeed proud to announce a $10,000 donation to the historic Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School. I'm going over to visit the school as soon as we're done here, and it's located less than a half mile from this store. Its mission is to educate the mind, the body, and the spirit of every child it serves, developing them into responsible, caring, and even higher achieving citizens in this global community. Here today to accept the check and to tell us a bit more about the school and how the donation will be used at the elementary school is Principal Betty Adams. Principal Adams.
So before I begin, I have an elementary background, and so every good educator brings a thank you from the children.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So good afternoon to all of the dignitaries present and to the Rite Aid Foundation. I'm not going to say I'm appreciative. I'm going to say thank you. It is my pleasure to represent the students, the staff, the families of the historic Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School, number 122. So let me give you a 10-second history lesson why we are historic. Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School was built in Baltimore City by the City of Baltimore and the Board of School Commissioners in 1926. It was the first elementary school in Baltimore City built specifically for African American children. And so we love to brag about all of our greats from Baltimore and all of our Baltimore notoriety that are alum of the Samuel Coleridge Taylor Elementary School. But I bet you didn't know that our most famous alum was Supreme Court Justice Thurgood Marshall. So as I stand on the heels of greatness of those that have gone before, I'm especially proud of my scholars at School 122. Their stories of greatness have not been written or told yet. They're only pre-K through 5th grade, so watch out for those. We have a myriad of challenges as a school community, but with the assistance of our numerous partners, and especially today, Rite Aid, who recognizes the challenges within our community and then provides those critical resources so that the great work that we do daily with our students and with our community is supported. That is a blessing, and it's a blessing to serve in this community with my wonderful scholars, parents, faculty and staff, and all of our community partners. The funds given so generously by the Rite Aid Foundation today will allow the historic Samuel Coleridge Taylor to purchase athletic equipment, which will be used during the traditional school day, but also to enhance our extracurricular activities. Research supports that children who engage in sports have better academic outcomes and are healthier in their social, emotional, and physical lives. So it is with sincere thanks that we accept this check, but it is also our hope that this will be a long-term partnership and relationship with Rite Aid. So again, I am appreciative, but I'm going to say thank you.
Thank you, Principal. Why don't you stay right there? This is obviously emblematic and symbolic of the real check that will be presented to you in just a little bit, but Brian and thrilled to be able to provide this to the historic Samuel Taylor Coleridge Elementary School. Congratulations. Thank you. And I'm looking forward to the tour. We want to thank all of you today for being here on this very special day at Rite Aid. We appreciate you being here and helping us celebrate our grand reopening. You know, we are indeed very proud to be a part of this community. The mayor did an excellent job in recapping the number of employees, the stores that we have here. It is a very, very important community to us, and we're thrilled that we were able to celebrate today. This does conclude our formal part of the program, but I'd like everyone to come out, and we're going to do a big picture and have a lot of fun cutting the ribbon to symbolically re-grand open this wonderful store on Martin Luther King Boulevard. Thank you.
2, 1.